Hey folks, welcome to Warhammer, welcome to Monday nights. We are finally back. We've had a bit of a delay, but we are returning. And welcome to Telling Tales, which I am part of the channel of. Yeah, this is good stuff. It's Monday night roleplay. We are doing some Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition tabletop roleplay tonight. Before we get to that, let me intro Telling Tales a little bit. So Telling Tales is a channel where we do all sorts of dark, fantastical, sci-fi, all sorts of different bits and bobs of roleplay. Tonight is Warhammer, which goes on Monday nights. It's kind of gone intermittent now, so we're going 1 week on, 1 week off with Warhammer, and we're due with the other week, I think next Monday, to start with Weeded and Led, which should be a lot of fun, which is going to be run by Jack. We also have Wednesdays is currently Blade Runner, which has taken over from Simbrew, our long-running series, for a wee bit. And Thursday is intermittently every other week Wicked Ones. So it's the following week I will be running Wicked Ones. We also do one-shots now and then. So we just have one on Sunday, which was Troika of the Zine we've been making, which is pretty cool. So check that out when it comes up on YouTube or on the Twitch stuff if you're keen. Speaking of that, we stream here on Twitch, put it out on YouTube. There's loads of stuff on our YouTube to check out. Have a look below if you want to find the links. Also to our social media bits and bobs, Discord and Patreon for all our lovely patrons who support us. So thanks very much to them. I think that's us. Cool. So let's get into the session, shall we? I'm looking forward to getting back into it a bit. Content warnings for Warhammer as well. That's pretty messy sort of things. Messing with your mind, horrible stuff, maybe murdering people quite a lot. That sort of thing. To review what's been going on over the last few sessions, let's switch to Jonny. Jonny. Hey, Jonny. I switched to Jonny. I mean, I'm still on the screen. It's not like we just switched to you and then you take over. Now Jonny runs the session.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Do you want to do a bit of an intro? Recap of what happened the last few sessions.
Sure. So we are in the town of Vicebrook. 1 second.
Dog will not behave.
The dog wanted freeing immediately, not just before and not in half an hour, immediately. Yeah. Okay, we are in Vicebrook, and which is where I have made my home. Ocri has made his home following the previous adventure, and set up a forge. So everyone else is kind of visiting almost. And we attended the funeral of the sort of town's doctor, Dr. Lederman. At the same time, another funeral was taking place, and lots of things ensued.
Yeah,
it kind of began getting a bit weird when a woman with a child appeared, saying that the child was the doctor's, and that he had sort of shunned his responsibilities in that regard. And then we went to the Garden of Moor, which is basically a graveyard. And there were poisonings from assassins. There was grave robbing, which turned out to be a mistaken grave robbing from people who were supposed to be actually getting a cache of drugs from a crypt, but had taken somebody else's coffin instead.
You're a bit inept,
there was Dr. Lederman coming back to life, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so that was that section. Do go back and watch the episode if you haven't. But like, there was
also an assassination attempt, which was mostly foiled, although one person was assassinated, and then you kind of figured out that was probably related to the said trying to raise from the dead thing that was going on. So I think the assassin's been caught. The lady who was doing the smuggling has been caught. The dead thing has been deaded again. And that's about where you are now.
So then Henrik, we kind of then did our own little bits in the next session.
Yeah.
So Henrik went and questioned the seamstress.
Mm-hmm. The assassin.
The assassin who had a kill list with a red hand mark on it. And the person who wrote that could well have been maybe somebody whose name began with an M.
Mm-hmm.
Henrik thinks maybe Matilda, who was a Ratcatchy Guild person that Henrik knew from Grunberg, our previous adventure. Kruger was looking after Gustav Weil, who had been poisoned at the funeral.
Yeah.
And kind of keeping an eye on him. I went off to get the next best thing to a doctor that was left in the town, a hedge witch, who I brought back and did go some way towards helping Gustav feel better. There was a Bretonnian knight and his squire hanging around in the tavern that we were in. Kruger saw an old White Wolf knight at a shrine of Ulrich in town. Karl Odedorsch. I think the tavern that we're at is the Demigriff, right?
That's right.
And there's a chance that he may be there later. And then we said that we were going to go to the widow's house. And then we cut to a blue light approaching an imprisoned Boniface.
Boniface, who had gone off to do his own thing in the intervening session, which we didn't witness.
And there it ended. I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully not for Boniface.
That's all, folks.
Why don't you give us a quick description of Okri as well, your character?
Sure. Okri is a dwarven smith. So he's the artisan career path. He is tall and friendly, as dwarves go.
Usually tall and usually friendly for a dwarf, which is not particularly of either for anyone else. But
yeah. I think he might be a similar height to me in real life, but we'll gloss over that. Not as friendly as me, though. So, yes, he has set up a smithy in the town, and which Boniface has invested in.
A lot of gold, I think.
I'm not saying if something bad happens to Boniface, it would be good for Okri, but it certainly wouldn't necessarily be negative.
No,
especially
Boniface is fine. We should leave him be. We don't need to.
Especially considering that, there maybe aren't as mmany customers as I thought there might be in the first few weeks.
I mean, I think that's what you say to yourself. It might not have been the customer's fault that you haven't had the most success so far. We won't talk about that.
I have taken in an ogre who is helping me for sort of, I'd say, scraps of meat, but like whole carcasses, because Turg is a big, well, maybe not a big ogre, but is an ogre and therefore is big.
Yes, and has a huge appetite. Indeed.
So yeah, that's Okri.
We get a bit of Okri character out before I jump on to the next. I don't know if that just wasn't prepared or. Yeah.
There's Okri.
There's Okri. There's an Okri. Perfect. Thank you very much.
So yeah, Okri is very close also to hitting the next level in the career path.
And I think we haven't done any XP spend yet. So if we have a sleep or otherwise have a restful period, we'll have a chance to do XP. We'll see if it happens. Yeah. Let's bring on Justin next. Justin, who plays Boniface. You are double muted.
I think I do play Boniface. I think that's correct. Thank you for undouble-muting me.
Well, we won't ask how is Boniface because we'll have to go back and find that out. But
to be honest, he's feeling blue. He's feeling blue. How is Boniface? Who is Boniface? Who is Boniface? Boniface is a servant, young man who discovered he had magical powers and went off to wizard school. Basically, Harry Potter. So don't look into the details of that. And now is finishing up wizard school and returning to having a little adventure. On kind of the summer holidays. Think of it as similar to the Dementor attack in that one book. That's basically that. That's basically the whole thing.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Okay, so summarize this plot line as Harry Potter. Perfect. Awesome. Okie dokie. Let's bring on John.
Hello.
Hey, John. How is Henrik doing? And who is Henrik?
Henrik is doing fine. Henrik is a rat catcher by trade and an investigator by sort of up and coming passion, or maybe those are the other way around. He's definitely a rat catcher by passion. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is here with his faithful companion Rinda, as pictured, who is his rat catching dog. He came here to investigate an assassin, and then the assassin tripped and fell spectacularly. So that was a job well done. And now Henrik is investigating further links with this assassin and kind of figuring out who would hire an assassin to disrupt a funeral of a person who is supposedly already dead and then wasn't and then was.
It is a conundrum. True, it is a conundrum. Perfect, thank you. And let's bring on Steve. Steve, who plays Kruger. Who is Kruger, Steve?
Hello. Kruger has bruised ribs from an incident during this whole ridiculous funeral thing. Kruger is a soldier. He's attempting to try to make a name for himself, and hopefully current plan is to try to become a knight and become powerful enough to go back home and help protect his homelands from the hordes of beastmen and the like that regularly assail a place. So yeah,
indeed. And as you've now found out, terrifying giant rats.
Underground terrifying rats. Those aren't great either.
You better not keep playing this campaign, because I feel like each time you're going to get a new thing to be scared of. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you very much. So we are going to start with Boniface. So from the scene we had at the at the end of last session, we will wheel back a bit, as if we're back in time a bit. So the other players have done some things. It's maybe 3 or 4 p.m. for them, but you have just gone to the barn. So it's just after midday for Boniface.
Okay.
So you're heading to the barn. You know where it is. You can basically see it on the distance up a little bit. It takes 20 minutes to walk up there. As you get close, the front door is open, and you can hear a pleasant music coming from inside.
Pleasant music.
Yeah. No one's on the outside of the barn.
Fantastic. I think it's a good chance to make an entrance and show what a cool wizard I am. So I am going to do that. Obviously, I've learned my lesson about sneaking around, so there's no point doing that. Instead, I'm going to... I think I'm going to kick open the door, because that's cool. That's what cool kids do. That's what Boniface thinks is cool. So he's going to try and do a big grand entrance. Maybe it will surprise some people. Maybe girls my age like being surprised. Boniface doesn't know. Boniface has no clue. So that's what he's going to do.
Well, as you kick the door open, people are indeed surprised.
Fantastic.
There is no doubt of it. Inside, you see well, not how a barn is normally adorned. It's quite pleasant. There's kind of cushions and rugs on the floor. There's even kind of a makeshift bar set up on some barrels with drinks of various kinds set on them.
Do they do weddings here?
There's a fire in the middle of the room as well. It's quite warm and pleasant. A few other things catch your eye as well. There's some people gathered around something kind of faintly glowing to one side.
Cool.
And most people, other than those people, have turned to look at you.
They probably think I'm cool, right?
Yeah, you totally think they think you're cool. Yeah.
Cool.
You can see Augusta there. She's at the bar, just having a drink with someone, having a chat. She nods to you, but she doesn't. She continues her conversation. Unless you say or do anything else, I think people will probably go back to their activities.
I think I will be cool, and by being cool, I mean that I will be making a check to charm.
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to be nice and give this a plus 20.
More than I deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's average technically. You're not in the hardest situation to be cool.
I get plus 10, you say?
Plus 20.
Plus 20. My. In which case, I get 3 levels of success.
Yeah.
Wow, I pulled it off.
I think you didn't kick the door in. You just hit it with enough noise to make people aware you're arriving.
Yeah.
And kind of wave to people a bit and just nod. And yeah,
this is going to be my thing for the rest of school.
People won't forget it.
Once you have a gimmick, you have to stick to it. I think this is the important thing I've learned about Wizard School.
I think a not unattractive young wizard sitting in the corner nods. She nods her drink to you. She goes
"Oh, amazing! I know that I can't handle alcohol because I have zero consume alcohol. But do I have the foresight to know that I shouldn't drink alcohol? I don't have the foresight to know I shouldn't drink alcohol.
You're heading straight to the bar. Right?
So on my intuition roll that I made for myself, I rolled a 93. And so that means that Boniface can have a drink because, he's here to cut loose. Kick doors.
Perfect.
And he's all done kicking doors.
Yeah. Well, I think someone's pouring you a drink as you walk up to the bar. You had a
fantastic.
It's rather a nice ale.
This is really this is good. Reminds me of my adventuring days.
We won't give you
I used to be an adventurer.
Just yet. We'll do it in a minute. Are you telling people all about your adventuring escapades?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to boast about it, but I did used to be an adventurer.
I would like you to make me 2 separate rolls on the thing you always forget, which is basically awareness. Is it awareness?
There is perception.
That's the one, perception. Thank you, perception.
Other stuff?
Actually, no. 1 perception and 1.
There's intuition.
The magic sensey one.
Oh, right.
Would it be...
I do have rules for that, so I can double check those.
Yeah,
on perception, I roll. Do I get any modifiers for that?
This is going to be minus 10.
Then I fail with a -1 success level.
Okay, no, nothing.
And for the Winds of Magic detection, I have got the rules written down.
Excellent.
In a place that is convenient for me to easily find the rules. I'm pretty sure that I just do a regular perception check and it enables me to do that, but I also gain a bonus to that. I get an automatic 1 success level, but I think I treat it like any other perception check.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy with that. This is flat, otherwise.
Then I gain... So I rolled a 12... And I had to get under the 42, so that is 4 success levels.
Yeah,
get plus 10.
Sense. Yep. Okay. You get quite the sense of this place. So the air kind of crackles around you and whispers with energy as the winds of magic flow around this place. You don't know whether it's just because there's lots of wizardy people here and they're kind of gathering, there's obviously people trying things out and messing with stuff, or if there's something else going on. But it's certainly, when you were at the graveyard, you felt this a bit too. I said the garden more, you felt this a bit too, but it feels even more concentrated here. It's also worth saying, whatever that blue glowing object people are gathered around is, that is different from the rest of the winds of magic. Rather than roiling and boiling and chaotic, like that chaotic feeling you have, it's almost like you're being buffeted when you're sensing it. That place is like a focus. So it's like a central, unmoving point, effectively, that you can sense. And perhaps as you're thinking about it, maybe you've had half a pint by now, so you're not sure whether it's the pint or not. You just hear a quiet whispering in your head. Perhaps you're in the middle of a conversation, but you just hear a quiet whispering that just goes, "Who's the new arrival then?" Do you think you would think an answer to that? Or do you think you would be like, "No, I'm not hearing this"?
I think that I would think and answer that because, again, I've found my own personal internal intuition roll.
Well, in that case, respond to this whisper.
Boniface from Drakensberg.
Welcome. Glad to meet new faces. I don't get out much nowadays. I'm over there. The circle around me. Come see if you like.
I'm going to sidle over. I've rolled over 90 3 times my own personal intuition rolls.
I'm
going to make 4 decisions.
Some of the group, I think you had a cool entrance. They shuffle over a bit to let you have space in the circle so you can come and sit if you want as well. They're all sitting in total silence with a look of concentration on their faces, staring at a skull, a human skull, which is floating in the air of its own accord, apparently, with nothing keeping it there, and a faint blue glow emanating from it. It's slowly spinning around. It says, presumably, in your head, "My name is Catan. Glad to meet you." Well, don't you have questions?
What's the skull? I say out loud.
I think one of the people next to you will just look at you and go, and won't say anything, and then in your head you will hear, "Please, we can have a conversation, just you and me. I don't think I was human long ago, very, very long ago, but now not much of me remains."
I can see. I say it in my head.
Magic can be a fickle thing, you understand.
No, I know that. I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking to dead people.
I suppose I'm not really sure, but I'm still here. It's been a strange existence for these 500 or so years. I wanted to live forever, you see, but it's turned out to not be quite as good as I would have hoped.
No, I think that's. I think I probably would feel the same. Well, I feel like I've learned a lot from this.
So you see yourself as an adventurer or a hero of sorts, do you then, Boniface?
I think I left. I drink over the other side of the room.
I heard you gloating over there about your tales from the past.
It really wasn't very. I'm basically a servant. I'm a servant at the college as well. I'm just.
No,
I think.
No, you are different. I can sense it.
I think that's just because I'm not really from Drakensberg. That's what I tell everyone. But I think people. I think that's probably what you're sensing.
If I could still laugh, I would.
Right. Well, this has been really fun.
Look, If there's something you want to know, you can ask me.
Mm.
Your friends here will probably lie, but I will not.
Oh, I really think I'm all right.
Very well.
Really, really great though. Good luck on the whole being dead thing, and I hope it works out for you. I kind of Boniface is 100% not okay talking to a skull. This is like this was not what he signed up for. He knew the death wizards were a bad idea. Like this is not what he signed up for.
Are you gonna wander your way back to the bar and have more of a drink?
100% going to go to the other side of the room from the skull. I don't trust that skull.
It's fair. It's fair. Do you sit down somewhere and say that to someone?
No, I think I'm gonna sit down there somewhere and be like, try not to think about the skull, and assume that the skull can still read my thoughts.
Okay, I'd like you to give me another perception roll. Flat. Muted. You're muted.
I failed by 1 success level, so minus 1 success level.
Nothing else is going on. I think you've probably been sitting for a little while, maybe having a bit more of your drink. Why don't we have a consume alcohol roll, just for fun?
Why not? Why not?
Did you have nothing in, I believe, so it will be...
It's a flat 40, which isn't too bad.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay. And I got
plus
5.
20 as well.
I got a 65, so I still fail with a flat fail. I don't know.
Okay. You're just a bit woozy. You've had one pint and you've noticed it. You know, you don't really drink, to be honest, ever. You're only 17 or something. Cool. I think after a little while, Augusta's going to walk over to you and just say, "So, enjoying yourself?" You are muted.
Can that thing hear me? When could it not hear me?
Oh, Katam. Well, he probably can. He can't read your thoughts completely unless you want to communicate with him, though. But he can hear what you're saying.
Is this what you
good
got?
Hearing, strangely, without ears.
Is this what your parties are normally like? Is Catan like a regular, like?
Oh, no. Well, we've had him a few times. He gets around, you know. Sometimes he likes to hang around with younger folks like us, see what's happening in the modern colleges. I think he was around before the colleges of magic.
Is it okay if I don't like? I just don't like. He hasn't got a body, and I find that really weird and awkward.
I mean, I suppose.
It doesn't make me a bad person, does it? Does it?
I think he can still hear us.
Well, look. Should I go? Did I like? I don't know if Catan is like your friend or something. I don't want to be rude, but maybe I'm being bigoted. But it just makes me uncomfortable, and I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm sure he's heard worse.
He seems like a perfectly nice head.
Yeah, he's always been polite and kind with what he knows. Obviously, he knows a lot of things, having been around a very long time.
I know that's weird. That's weird too. I mean, this is a me thing, not a Catan thing. But I just can't help but associate skulls with like bad things, especially when they float. I think that's
we all have skulls, Boniface.
Yeah, you put it like that. I'm gonna have to think about this a lot. I mean, I knew that magic did some strange things. I've seen a lot of strange things it's done, but I've seen weirder things than this. But this, I don't know. There's something about this. It's a me thing. I will try and get over it, but it's a me thing.
Well, I mean, he'll probably be around here for a while. You'll have a chance to get used to it, I'm sure. Do you?
Right, yeah, of course.
By the way,
sorry.
No, it's okay. What did
No, you had a question. You go. Oh, look at us.
she looks genuinely a little sorry for you for a moment. And then the expression completely disappears, and she goes, "Look, there's something a few of us were going to have a go at downstairs. If you want to come and have a quick look."
Is
stairway's down
Catan joining?
No, he'll stay up here, I think.
Down in the cellar.
Yeah.
And who's going?
Oh, all of your friends from the journey over, I think. As you notice, there's a few other folks here as well. From most of this have already graduated.
There are two questions. One's for me, one's for Boniface. Boniface's view is what kind of the robes of all these people? Are they all death magicians?
They're not all death wizards, no. Most of them are not wearing any particular.
What Justin wants to know is this all of the random people who are new and young, or is this the younger people who will be carrying?
I am happy to answer the question. This is what your perception rolls were for. All of the people who you travelled here with are not in this room. It's up to you whether Boniface has noticed this immediately. But I think now that she said it, you probably look around and go, wait a minute.
Okay. I'm cool here. Like, I think I was gonna get some air, and also I've got some friends. I've got some friends in town. Actually, I hadn't even realised from my venturing days. So I didn't know maybe I was going to step out. But the basement sounds cool, but I don't know if I'm really a basement kind of guy. Like, I don't know if that's
whatever you fancy. If you want to go see
also,
your friends.
why does the barn have a basement? These are some things.
It's not really a barn. We had this place commissioned quite a few years ago. It just looks like a barn.
Right.
It's made up so that no one suspects it and everything.
Cool. Cool.
You go ahead, get your fresh air, go see your friends.
Yeah. I'm gonna
see you
I'm
later.
just gonna step outside.
I'm
gonna step outside and take a lot of deep lungfuls of cold air.
Catan, as you're exiting, Catan just goes, "See you soon," in your head. Outside Boniface, you're getting the fresh air. It's kind of raining out here a little bit. A really loud helicopter is going over. My apologies. That's so loud.
Cool.
Don't you mean a dwarven ornithopter? I don't know what they're actually called. That's the one.
Yes, you're outside Boniface. You have a moment of fresh air. I can imagine Boniface almost bent over, heaving.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm just, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being summoned into a barn. A barn that's supposed to. It's something in disguise. It's a disguised location that I'm going to be murdered at, and I'm just.
I love your terrible roles to just be like, Boniface is totally up for this anyway.
Yeah.
You hear a loud banging sound, and as you look around, you notice a trapdoor to presumably the cellars with a banging coming from.
Does it sound like people thumping to get out of the basement?
It sounds like someone desperately thumping on the other side of the hatch. And at this, we will cut to the rest of the group.
I'm so glad I didn't go into this basement.
Okay. We are in the Demigriff, the tavern in the middle of Icebrook. It's maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. You've spent a bit of time doing a few bits and bobs, and you've had a bit to eat and a bit to drink in the tavern. Taltha is there with you still. Taltha is still there with you.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Are we
sorry, you'd already
left?
No, you're absolutely right. You already left because you were on the way to the house, weren't you?
Yes.
I wrote that in my notes without realizing that you'd already left the tavern. Okay, it's about 4 o'clock then, and you're on the way to the house. I don't think there was anything else you were doing on the way to the house because Kruger was a bit behind, and Henrik and Okri. Mm-hmm.
I am actually doing something. When we are close enough to the house that we can recognize, we know where we're going, I want to casually turn to the captain and say, Captain, didn't you send someone down to the docks? Said you'd be along shortly.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I should probably. You're right. I I really want to come to this
Why
house.
don't we meet you down there after we've investigated the house?
He kind of, his eyes narrow momentarily, and then he goes, yeah, all right. Just tell me everything you find, right? I don't want no secrets.
Of course.
He kind of glances at you one more time, and then wanders off to the right, down towards the canal front. So, Okri and Henrik, you're here. Kruger, you'll be catch up in a few minutes if you're happy with that.
Shall we?
Let's.
You
Any sign of any movement or anything around or inside?
So this is kind of an end terrace. It's a decent sized house, but it's not huge. It's kind of old wooden buildings. I'll tell you what. Actually, let's get a picture of a typical Reichland town to have up, so we can kind of imagine the architecture and what sort of things look like. Yeah, no movement in any of the windows. The door is shut, and if you try the handle, it is locked. And my picture is just going to disappear the second I click that button for some reason. Why? There we go. Tech is not working.
Clearly, the picture is transmitted telepathically. You should be seeing the image round about now.
I think that is now working.
There we go.
Yay.
It worked, Steve.
And now it's not telepathic. Sorry for that 5-second extra delay.
No, it is telepathic. This is a hallucination.
It would explain.
So yeah, this is kind of the typical Reichland architecture. Slightly gilded, slightly fallen down, wattled or wooden buildings with the occasional bit of stone and other things in there. So it's the doctor's house is fairly ramshackle but decently sized and not the cheapest building on the block. You try the door, it's locked. You kind of look around the side, and then I think one of you probably has the key. Or yes, you were given the key, weren't you?
I think we were given the key. Before I go in, I would like to look for any other possible entrances. Because I would like to know whether this place has been searched before we got here.
Absolutely. So you're on the end. You can almost imagine an end terrace, like you can see to the left of the picture there. So you've come around the front on the right-hand side. You walk around the back, and it's got a similar door with a small kind of cottage garden with a few vegetables growing in the back and things. You kind of walk over the muck of the garden and try the door, and it appears to be locked as well. And as you look around, none of the windows seem to be tampered with or anything. So unless someone locked the door again, you assume no one has been here before now.
Good.
Okri, you waiting at the front, and then door can be unlocked.
Yep.
Cool. You open it. It smells a bit musty. Surprising. No one's been in here, or they have been. You don't know. But it looks like it's been lived in otherwise. There's a dusty hearth that's not too old. And everything is more or less as normal. You pass through a living room, a kind of small dining room, kitchen at the back with an old Harga. It's a bit messy and grubby. But nothing seems out of the ordinary. So you presumably head upstairs. I think, Kruger, you can arrive at the house by now as well, while they're kind of maybe heading up the stairs, having searched downstairs. Get this off now so I can check my notes, because I have to choose picture or notes. And remember to stop sharing before I change to my notes. So I imagine Henrik leading this, because Henrik's really the eagle-eye person in this group. So first of all, I'll give Henrik a perception roll when you get upstairs.
Okay. Perception. Any modifiers?
Plus 20 for this.
20, target of 67, and I rolled 27, so that's 4 success levels.
Very nice. So Henrik, you have a quick sweep over the rest of the rooms upstairs and decide that in this house, the only room that might have anything relevant in is the office. Basically, there's one small office upstairs. Your investigator mind is like, no, this is where things might be. There's a few lock boxes in here. There's a desk with scattered papers on it. There's some interesting looking books. So you can probably share that with everyone else and draw together to this room effectively.
As I am going through the house, I would also like to look for possible signs of entry from, more underground, smaller, furrier places.
Absolutely, you can do that. You see, there's signs of rats, as would be expected, particularly in the kitchen. Not excessive. There's also some traps down, so clearly they're trying to deal with them. You don't see any rats other than that. It's not a big infestation.
Typical for a town house.
Yeah. You do not look under the dining table and see just a full-grown Skaven under there, just like.
But also, it's not weirdly devoid of rats as if they've fled the scene of the crime.
No, it's not. That's true.
Okay, I will start searching through the office then.
Mm-hmm. Okri and Kruger, you're not really. This isn't really your thing. You're both probably looking around the house like it's a house.
Yeah.
I figure more here in case there was somebody else here or somebody shows up or something like that, rather than.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I will be be keeping our eyes open to see if there's anything interesting. But
cool. Are you kind of hanging around downstairs to make sure no one shows up, or are you going to both head up and search, presumably the interesting room with Henrik, but Henrik is now shuffling about it?
I think I will look to Kruger when Henrik says there's some interesting stuff upstairs, sort of with a look of, does one of us want to go?
Well, I think someone should stay down here and keep a lookout. Do you have a preference?
Flip a coin.
I'd like to ask: Is this going to be a penny or a silver or a crown you flip?
Who do you think we are, Sam?
I would flip whatever I had to hand.
Love it. Okay. It's probably a penny.
Probably a penny.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned, but the smithy ain't doing so.
Okri gets out a penny and just goes.
All right.
Okri gets out a penny that is seemingly made of iron and hammered into the vague approximation dimensions.
I love the image that Okri flips the penny and it doesn't catch it. It goes down between the floorboards, and Okri's like, "My last penny."
That's half my money gone.
Love it.
Well, that looks like me, Kruger. So, best of 3.
Sure.
No, it's fine. I'll start going up the stairs.
Okri really doesn't want to look at things.
I'll
head
keeping
up.
guard. That's yeah.
Cool. Okay. Kruger staying kind of in the front door, keeping an eye out. Okri heads upstairs. Henrik. There's a few interesting things up here. A few things you wouldn't normally, you wouldn't think are usual. There's lots of medical and physicians books on the shelves, but there's also some books that kind of you can you cast your eye over and you're like, that's not usual. There's a few books in other languages that you don't really know very well. One of them, it's safe to say, looks like hieroglyphics. Like it's not in any sort of writing you would recognize. It's literally in symbols. And one of them has a few words written on it in maybe another language, you're not sure. One of them is Nehekara, which was mentioned earlier about the Lich.
So did you say Nehekara?
Nehekara.
Right.
I can't remember who mentioned it. I think it was probably Vile that mentioned that word. Some of them look very old as well. It's up to you whether you actually get them out and leaf through them, or you just go, okay, he was looking into some strange shit. What do you think?
If there are in other languages, I don't. Oh no, I should leaf through them. I'm trying to figure out whether someone like Henrik would have the awareness to not flick through potentially highly magical tomes.
If it's
Just read them aloud, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just do whatever I do whenever I'm in the situation and make an intuition just.
If it's any consolation, you've been in the presence of magic things before, and even like a normal person can kind of, it feels a bit unsettling if you're very close to things. You don't get any of that feeling here.
Okay, then yeah, I will flick through the books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. So probably the easiest one for you to understand is A Complete History of Nehekara, which is basically a story of the Sand and Dune peoples who lived far to the south of the Empire many hundreds of years ago and were destroyed by some terrible blight across the land. And then it gets a bit weird and starts talking about the blight making those who died rise from the dead, and skeletons coming to life, and armies of them roaming the dunes for any travelers who. And it's kind of like, to a certain extent, you're like, this is a bit far-fetched, and to another, on the flip side, you're like, well, given whatever you're seeing, this probably makes some sense, but it might still be quite fantastical. It definitely sounds quite fantastical. But either way, he's got leafed through and there's notes in the book and things like that. So clearly he was reading about this stuff. Not that it helps you very much. You don't know where to go to find rituals specifically in the book. As I say, there's a few books in hieroglyphics, but there's nothing like a journal of his work or anything like that. And there's nothing that seems obviously like a spell to rise from the dead or something. Otherwise, you look around the room. The only other thing that's obvious is scattered papers on the table, but they're all just physician's notes, you can tell. The desk has a locked drawer, which you aren't able to get into. For what it's worth, it doesn't seem super sturdy. Maybe you could just bash it or attack it or pull it with some force. And Okri's in the room now, at the mention of force. I think, Okri, are you just kind of standing there awkwardly while Henrik's searching, or are you?
I'm gonna be glancing around the room to see if I see anything that's of interest to me. And is there a window up here?
Yes, there's a small window.
Is it looking out the front of the?
I think it looks out the side.
Side or back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd probably be sort of vaguely looking out there every now and again, see if anybody looks to be heading this way from that direction.
People are casually, but it doesn't look like anyone's heading towards the building as you watch. But I can imagine just kind of Okri, arms crossed, just gazing out the window.
And yeah, if Henrik looks like he needs help with anything, then.
I'm just trying to think. The keys that I got, did I get the widow's keys or the doctor's keys?
You got the widow's keys, and actually you have a few keys on there, but none of them look like they're for something this small. They're all kind of door keys.
Can I do some kind of an intuition roll for where I think a man like Dr. Liederman might leave keys to his private desk?
Yeah, I think you can do that.
I'm thinking like mostly on him, but maybe he's got a spare key.
I will give you. You have a chance to find the keys practically, but it's going to be a -20 because that seems only fair to. Yes, I know where the keys would be. You're looking around the room, kind of thinking about it.
I'll give that a try. It's a target of 22. I rolled a 40, so no.
It was a pretty far-fetched, you kind of go, oh, maybe behind this book and there's nothing there. And then you go, I know, under the rug and there's nothing there. And you're like, I'm not really getting in his head here. Okri, for what it's worth, you've noticed Henrik looking at this drawer. You think you could probably just break it.
Okri.
Henrik, yeah. Do you want to... I'll stroll over.
Yeah.
I will.
Do you want a strength roll? Something?
Yeah, I was going to say I think a +20 strength. It's a wooden, drawer. It's not really chunky. Go on, John.
All my practice rolls have been in the 80s, so let's see if I've got those out my system. Oh yeah, that is 43 under 67. So
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, with one sweep, and in relative control, you just kind of force the drawer back, that kind of 2 inches that needed to break the lock without pulling it and flailing it all over the place. The drawer is open. You peer inside Henrik and see a few things. First, you notice a small notebook and pencil. Then you see a small vial, maybe this big, a glass vial with a cork stopper in top, and inside is a dark red liquid. And then you see a ring, a black ring with a skull on it.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. I will first of all look at the book.
Yep. So you open up the book. It's a journal kept by the good doctor. He has numerous journals, as you probably found when you were looking around books. But this one is a technical journal of his research in how to not die. It's not day-to-day activities. It's very much about tried this ritual with these ingredients, did not work, tried this sort of thing. Honestly, a lot of it seems to be still kind of very broken English, sort of skipping notes ahead for himself, and it's a little hard to understand. But it's quite clear that he's been trying to figure this out for at least several months, and that he's been talking to people about it, and that I guess I can answer other questions you might specifically have, but you get the picture.
Does he by any chance mention any of the people he's talking to by name?
Yes, he does.
Well,
he mentions Otto Meyer in Altdorf.
So
Meyer.
So that's a rookie mistake. Naming people.
Why do you think they might have been assassins?
Okay.
And you don't have an address in Altdorf. You have a district, which should help.
Does the name ring any kind of bells to me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to think what else he might make reference to in his journals.
I can't think of anything else immediately relevant to you. Most of this is very technical about the ritual, which, to be honest, isn't what you're looking for. You believe he was, and obviously partly succeeded, so there's no real extra information. This is the sort of thing you'd hand over to, someone who's investigating these matters, like Gustav Weil. You wouldn't keep this yourself. So
I'm going to pocket it for a closer look later, and then once I think I have gotten everything I need out of it, I will tell Talpa about it, and I will hand it over to Vile.
Gotcha. What about the other 2 items?
I will look at, but not immediately touch the vial.
Cool. There's not much to say about it. A clear glass vial, small glass vial with something. It's darker than blood. It's a very dark red, but it is kind of translucent. That's it. That's all you could say, really.
It doesn't match any. It doesn't look like a poison or anything, does it?
Not that you know of, no.
Okay.
You don't know what it is, honestly.
I would like to take it with me, but I want to wrap it in something. Is there any way to transport it safely?
You saying you don't want to touch it?
Yes. I've got a handkerchief or something.
Yeah, you could grab it with a handkerchief and then put it in a pocket of your pack, wrapped in a handkerchief.
Okay.
Cool. You can note that down. And the black ring is the last thing.
And the black ring. Well, it's not purple, but a black ring with a skull on it is still quite a bad sign.
Pretty badass ring, though.
Imagine how cool that would look on you.
Yeah, maybe I'll save
right
it
now.
for first. I think I will pick it up with the end of a quill and also deposit it in something not touching it.
When you put the quill into it and touch it with the quill, your hand starts involuntarily shaking.
Oh, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
It
feel
looked
good.
like such a friendly ring.
You know when I mentioned that feeling? Yeah, you get that feeling, that weird prickly feeling on the back of your neck.
Does the drawer slide out of the desk?
Yes.
I will take the drawer out of the desk, cover up the ring, and then, acting like this is a perfectly normal thing to do, I will take the drawer with the ring with me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth saying, even after you've carried the drawer for a few seconds, it feels a little uncomfortable, but it's not. You've still got the prickle in the back of your neck, but it's not like, oh god, I want to drop this now. I'm not making you make a corruption roll.
Good.
I'm kind of keeping an eye on this. Everything all right, Henrik?
For now. I have a doctor's journal with a possible contact in Altdorf. I have an unspecified vial, which I don't really want to touch. And I have an item that gives me a very bad feeling, and I think Mr. Vial needs to see.
Are you all right with it? Do you want me to take it?
I'm all right with it for now.
Okay.
I think you probably saw the whole thing with the quill and everything on crew too there, but okay, you walk downstairs. Kruger, you see Henrik carrying the little drawer with a thing over it.
Was there in the journal any notes, like, did he make reference when he was doing his rituals, for example? Did he say where he was doing them? Did he mention a workshop or another study, or maybe at his practice, or say a murder basement?
I don't think he did, no, because he didn't need to note that down for himself. He just needed to make a note of what he was doing. So I don't think he did say location, because this is just for his own reference.
Then I will say, before we leave, I think we should look for some basement, hidden rooms. Help me lift up the carpets. And I'll put the ring box down and start pulling rugs up.
Okay.
I'll help.
For what it's worth, I think, Henrik, I will give you this. The rituals mainly sounded like just trying to play with materials and reagents and things, but some of them definitely involved corpses. So at some point, he's had corpses. You don't think he had a corpse in his office. That would be... Just getting it in the house would be weird enough, let alone having a corpse in a small office.
Or you just carry it in a desk drawer with a cloth over it, clearly.
Just that really big desk drawer. Cool. Yeah, you pull up all the carpets downstairs, and there's no. It's just floorboards, and the floorboards don't seem loose or suspicious or anything.
Okay.
And you didn't notice a cellar when you were going around the house as well.
Do you think he worked at the graveyard?
Okrete, did the doctor see his patients at home or elsewhere?
At home.
Yeah, at home.
Yes, maybe at the graveyard. Maybe somewhere else. Maybe he had another accomplice in the town that we don't know about. His apprentices might know more.
I think at this point, Taltha will walk in the front door. How's it going then? You found anything?
We have.
What's that box? He will go to pull the sheet off.
Don't touch it. Please, Captain.
He'll pull the sheet off carefully while looking at you and go, okay, yeah, I can see what you mean.
We have an investigator in our party that specializes in these sort of qualities.
Yeah. He wasn't the one who got poisoned, was he?
He was.
Yeah. So, he should have a look, though, when he's better, I guess, is what you're saying.
We found that ring, a vial of possible reagent, a journal with the name of a contact in Altdorf, and at least one book on the history of some kind of necromantic legend.
Well, I mean, I'm not denying now that he was well in deep with this stuff, so none of that sounds particularly surprising. I'll have a look at that journal. If it's all right with you, we take this back to the guardhouse for now, and your good investigator comes there and has a look at them. I'd rather they were secure, particularly this. He says, pointing at the ring, rather than at that tavern. We'll still have full access, and we can talk about who takes what.
How many people have access to the guardhouse, just out of interest?
Well, only 3 of us have the key to lock and unlock the place, as far as I know. Myself, the mayor, and Lord Fürstenrecht. But, I mean, occasionally, if I'm a bit sick, I'll give the key to my lieutenant for the day.
Given we've had an assassin roaming free around the town, perhaps it would be good to have someone else on guard, just to cover every eventuality.
I've already asked all town guard back for double shifts. After what happened, I thought it was safer. But if I take this back to the guardhouse, I'll make sure it's well protected. You can trust my men and women, don't worry.
I'm sure they will protect it to the best of their ability.
Good. Well, come on then, let's get these back. I trust you did a good job checking the place over, but I might come back myself tomorrow and have another look.
When you do, it would be interesting to know if you believe anyone else had a look.
I see. I'll keep it in mind.
I'll pick up the drawer and start heading out. How were the docks?
Oh, I mean, we found the boat. It's pretty penny of the stuff on there, along with some rather fine wines and other things. Alexander, after a bit of convincing, told me that the Lord and Lady of the Manor ordered it all. I've taken a look at the papers. It's above board. They did pay their taxes and everything, and it was officially sanctioned. They just wanted to keep it quiet. Don't know what they're using that quantity of poisons for or something, though. Hopefully just an infestation or something, I guess, but it doesn't look like it's directly to do with this assassination plot, I reckon. Unless, I mean, I can't see why they'd be related. I reckon she was just taking advantage.
Perhaps. Perhaps the Lord and Lady would appreciate a professional to take a look at their infestation.
Aye, that am I. You can go talk to them if you like, although I might wait till tomorrow now.
Agreed.
Come on, let's get this stuff back. And he will beckon you all out, wanting to make sure the place is locked up after you leave.
Mm-hmm.
And probably he'll go around the back as well and check for himself that it's all secure and locked up, and then follow you back to the guardhouse. Is there anything else you wanted to do at the guardhouse, or is that kind of back to the tavern for evening meals and stuff now?
Nothing else on my agenda, I don't think.
I realise this is very Henrik heavy with investigator leading it.
I was going to ask the apprentices if there was any other location that they knew of that the doctor worked in.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get there, one of them is pretty ill looking. You don't know why. One of them, oh no, I think they got hit over the head, didn't they, or something? Yeah, that's the one. They're like I think it's the guy. He's laying in the back, still not looking well. The other one, the young woman, she's definitely been crying. She's kind of just sat on an upturned bucket near the way in, and then when you come over, she just looks up and then looks down again.
Good afternoon.
Not very good, is it?
Has your friend seen any kind of a medic?
Yes. Well, of a sort. He'll be fine. He's just a bit out of it. I'm one of the best medics in town now, I suppose, anyway, and I've seen him.
I was wondering if you were aware of the doctor carrying out his work anywhere other than his home.
Yes. By his work, you mean attempting to prevent his death? Yes.
Yes.
He experimented on the recently deceased at the graveyard. We went up there after midnight 4 or 5 times. It was blasphemous as I know. But I was curious. I don't really know if we succeeded or not. Nothing happened to the corpses, but sometimes the doctor seemed satisfied, I think.
Did he have a workshop or?
No, not that I know of. He mainly worked from his office or other people's homes when he was doing his profession.
Do you remember which bodies you looked at?
Mostly paupers' graves. There was a Maxwell most recently, I think. One of the... I mainly saw him around the tavern, and he died recently. I think he fell in a ditch drunk one night. He was an out-of-work miner, that's right. I don't remember the others, but they were all from paupers' graves.
I think the father might like to know regardless.
We didn't despoil the bodies or anything, and they were reburied. But yes, I suppose you're right.
If you
She
do
looks ashamed.
If you do remember, I'm sure the guards will be happy to pass along a message.
I'll think on it, I promise.
This is all the holding cells are in the same area, aren't they?
Yeah, they're sort of like, they're on the left. It's like a small tunnel between like bars effectively down, and then the one at the end is the one with the seamstress in, before I reveal her name accidentally, and then going down from there. It was just
what were you going to say, Sam?
It was just on the tip of my tongue. I was so close. Just awkward GM moments. I was like, yeah, just to the left of you, just at the bottom of the stairs, is these two in one cell. And next along is the widow.
I'll move closer to the bars and say in a bit of an undertone, has the halfling down the corridor done anything interesting?
Nothing at all. It's actually a little unsettling. She's barely moved in hours. I'm a bit afraid of her having to stay this close, although I suppose I should be safe behind these bars.
You should be.
It's okay. You're an assassination target of that person who's trying to... Yeah, she's fine. Don't worry. Oh, gosh.
I will leave them where they are, but I will also talk to Captain Talther and ask if there is anywhere more secretive that they can be kept.
Talsel will go, no, I can think of. I mean, I'm not letting them out from behind bars, and they're the only bars we've got. They shouldn't have got themselves involved in all this if they didn't want to be there.
Yes, but I don't think it would look very good for the guard if 2 of your prisoners were killed by another one.
Well, there's always going to be a guard down there. I've told them to keep watch the whole time with that one down there, and she's got no weapons or anything. I can't imagine what she'd do. She was thoroughly searched. There's nothing in the cell. And I've told the guard if she does anything dodgy, he'll come wake me in the night. So we'll be fine. There's already a representative from Reichland on the way, on the next barge down. They'll probably be here tomorrow evening, I think. I expect they'll... well, they might want to take her away for questioning.
A Reichland guard or someone else?
No. Inquisition, I think. They like to look into all these sorts of matters, don't they? I sent off the word and, well, was told they're on the way.
Interesting. Have they given you any further details?
No.
Name of the investigator?
These sorts don't do that, do they?
That sounds... Yes.
By the way, before anyone asks me how the message got across so quick, carrier pigeons. That's how.
Yep, I believe that.
I hope they were encrypted.
Someone's gonna call me out on it. If it takes like a day to ride over, then I cool. Okay,
right.
Are you kind of done in the guardhouse for now then, Henrik?
Yeah.
You head back to the Demigriff. It's maybe like 6:30 now. You're probably perhaps thinking of settling for an evening meal. I think perhaps the words of Boniface appear in Kruger's ear, maybe just saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be back well before supper." But he's probably fine. He's probably fine. I'm sure he's fine. And speaking of Boniface, let's cut back to the barn, shall we? So,
cool. So there's a knocking on the basement door.
I'd say more of a frantic banging than a knocking.
Can I open this door?
As you walk closer, you can hear a voice inside. You can't make out what they're trying to say. The door has a padlock on it on the outside.
Now I can open locks with magic, but magic is dangerous. So I'm going to rush back inside and say, "So downstairs, there's someone knocking on the door of the basement." I'm going to say, sticking my head in, in frantic tones.
What do you mean? There's how did you know?
They're knocking on the door. The door outside. Someone should go check on them.
But there is no door outside.
I heard them. They're just check on them.
Augusta will go and turn around and go to head downstairs quickly enough. She's gone for like a minute or two. Are you standing there?
I want to go back to the door where the knocking was. Is the door still there? Does it exist? Is the knocking
It's
happening?
still there, and they're still knocking.
I'm gonna shout on the door like someone's gonna come. Someone's checking on it right now.
As you get close to the door to listen, you can hear. I think you probably recognize the voice on the other side. It was the youngest member of your group, a young wild mage who, the Lord of the Wilds, who was always carrying he had a little stuffed rabbit that he absolutely adored.
Can I try and break this lock?
Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
I mean, because it's opening lock, it's a stealth check.
Picking
Or
a
is
lock,
it
you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lock picking skill, is there?
I'll have to Google. I'll have to check on the thing. But breaking. Given that I don't think I have that skill.
Mm-hmm. You could just make a strength to try and just break the lock from the outside with whatever hard thing you have to hand.
I've got a dagger end or something. I could try and don't know.
Rock might be better, but yeah.
A rock.
Yeah,
a strength roll will be fine. I pass a strength roll with 1 success level.
Yeah, with no modifiers.
With no modifiers.
You smash the padlock, and at the moment you've hit it, you probably pause for a split second and realize there's no banging sound anymore.
I'm opening the door, obviously.
Yep. You pull open the trapdoor, and there is a set of stairs leading down into what looks like a fairly normal cellar. It's lit by candles on the sides of the walls. It's rough stone cut, and presumably as you go down...
I just want to put out as well, but what I'm doing is I have low light vision things, so I can see well in dark situations. But yeah, I'm going down, obviously.
That is good to know. So the hall goes straight for about 20, 30 feet, and then it branches in 2 directions, which is underneath the barn from where you're standing. You hear the sound of someone go, "Please, no," in the distance.
Okay, I'm obviously gonna. This is player Justin. That's a terrible idea. Bodyfat is obviously gonna go down this corridor towards the sound. But I'm gonna
Do you look back at the trapdoor behind you? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, I'm not gonna look back and give you the satisfaction of telling me the door is shut.
No, the door is not shut. You would hear the door shut.
Yeah, sure, I would. Magic.
With only saying, you can see on the open door there are the scratch marks of nails.
Okay, that's great. I didn't look, but it's good to know that's what I would have seen.
You did look. You would have seen.
I will call down the other corridor, which I assume heads back towards the barn. The sound's coming from something. They sound like they're over here. In case this friendly wizard is here to help.
As you look down the corridor, it goes a fair way, perhaps a bit further than you'd expect, and then you can see stairs up that way. There's no one coming down those stairs.
Yep, cool. No worries. I'm going to go down towards the screaming voices.
Yeah, good. Sounds good. You round a corner, and then another corner. It's a bit winding, and then the voices. You can't hear them anymore. You're kind of wait a minute. Which way? For a split second.
Cool.
You haven't seen anyone for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, and you've taken a couple of corners.
You know what? I really love that they have this murder tunnel underneath the barn. I think it's a great design choice. Can I make a navigation roll?
Yeah, that sounds good. Make a navigation roll. Make it flat, I think.
I do pass. I rolled a 19, and I needed to get 32. So that's 2 levels of success.
Where are you trying to get to? You're trying to find
I am trying to find the person, but keep track of where I am to not get lost.
Absolutely. That sounds good. You can retrace your steps to where you came from.
Yeah.
You walk for a little while longer and come around a bend and find yourself kind of with a view through some bars over a more open area. And it takes you a second to realize that you have good dark vision. You're looking into a cave, a natural cave, quite a large open area. And from inside that cave is coming some strange chanting. Chanting in the language of the winds of magic.
Cool.
But these words of magic you've never heard before.
Right.
You can't really see very well from where you are. You can kind of only see a bit of it, kind of looking through the grate because it's quite small. It's a bit lower down. You can see a few people down there. You can see Augusta is down there, and you can see a couple of other people who seem to be wearing kind of blue flowing robes.
Cool.
And there's definitely a light coming from down there where you can't see.
I mean, to be honest, I think like overall, this isn't actually that weird for Boniface. Like walking into a room where there's a load of people in robes chanting is pretty much a day-to-day experience in the College of Magic. The setting is odd, but it's not even the most odd place that exists in the College of Magic. So I'm not finding that bit particularly perturbing. I'm finding, the whole situation a bit discombobulating. But
Yeah, of course.
Is there a way for me to get down towards...
It's safe to say Boniface is definitely a little perturbed, if not disturbed by the circumstance, but also perhaps is led on by the whole curiosity and also, well, someone might be in danger and I want to help thing.
I mean, yeah, let's go with that. Is there a way down? Is there a way to...
Not immediately obvious. You carry on the tunnel a bit longer, looking for it, and then you see some stairs if you want to go down.
Yeah. I'm primarily looking for like signs of consent here from these the young students, making sure that they look like they're having a good time.
Sounds good.
If they're not, I mean, that isn't cool.
Once you're past the grate, you can't see for a little while, so you're kind of in the tunnel. You go down.
That's what I will be looking when I emerge into this horrible scene.
Are you just walking straight into the horrible scene, or are you planning?
I think. What am I going to do? Sneak?
You could always take the boots off. Now you know. This is an option.
I don't even want to know if I can take them off. At least I have them on.
Oh, your feet will be consumed. Sorry.
I think that I am going to walk into the scene. Yeah, like I don't have any. Again, like the chanting and the robes is not in itself something that weirds me out. So that and I don't really, Boniface. Yeah, so I'm walking in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's safe to say you see a very perturbing scene upon walking into this cave. You could only see a few people and a blue glow from where you were before. Now you're in the room. You see the 9 of your friends, exactly 9 of them, in a circle, a very large, wide circle. Some of them are bleeding. Some of them are screaming. They're all on their knees.
Oh.
Some of them seem to be entirely enraptured with gleeful smiles across their faces. You see Augusta and a few of the other people in the room. It's safe to say looking creepily unsettling with smiles on their faces at the same time, looking into what is in the middle of this circle, which is a dark, writhing, blue-black mass, which appears, and there's kind of speckles in it, and it's kind of vibrating on the floor. It's definitely not what the floor should look like, it's safe to say. It's as if there is a tear in the world. I'm going to need you to make a roll to not get any corruption at this point, which I think
is very cool. Very cool.
What
role is that?
Endurance.
Just straight endurance.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good because that is a class skill. I have a 50-50 chance of being fine, which I pass.
Yeah, you are fine. There's something else even weirder that you see, though, beyond all this. Towards...
What?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, a blue glowing portal, but yeah, that's, I've seen those every day.
To one side of the room are a few creatures, more or less unlike anything. Why is the share screen so hard? More or less unlike anything you've seen before. They aren't humanoid. They aren't shaped like any animal you've ever seen. I have my screen up now. They are quite horrific. They have various numbers of limbs, various numbers of eyes, large gaping mouths, more or less in the middle of their bodies. A few of them are pink, and a few of them are blue. I think Boniface is probably aware enough to know this is some sort of demonic entity. And Augusta, some of the other people in the room, who it's safe to label as cultists, and these demons all turn to look with a little bit of surprise at Boniface.
Cool. I made an intuition roll to see whether I should run now or stand the fight. I rolled a 99 on that intuition roll. So I'm going to just be like, what is going on?
I love it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Actually, no, I won't put that on there. Why is it not going away? The picture. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I need to get back to my notes. So as you watch this kind of scene unfold, I think it's the demonic creatures start to walk towards you menacingly. No one answers your question. As you watch a monstrous, huge hand, far bigger than a person, starts to come up from the ground in between all those people.
Good. I just don't think it's good.
Boniface, I would like you to roll me.
Yeah.
Is it like a law magic roll?
There is a law magic roll that is exactly the
Make that on a +20.
+20. I love it. I pass with 1 level of success. Extra level of success.
You don't know what it is, but you know whatever it is coming from the other side. And
that's bad. If
whatever that thing is comes through, it will probably be horribly destructive. However, this is a very, very fragile ritual, what they're doing right now. It would be very easy to stop it if you could just knock one of the people, or just jump in the way of the portal, or just disturb that circle, or any of those things. You could stop this creature if you're willing to be that heroic.
I definitely am, because I completely failed. 99 on an intuition roll. Clearly, the correct decision was to leave, and so 99 is to inject.
You have to save everyone. You have to save all the people in this room. You have to save the town of Weisbrook. It's probably all at stake now.
Yeah, no. I've been here before. I know the. I think I'm just trying to look for what my best option is with my magic and not. I think my best option is just to, start whacking people with sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to run straight for the circle, or are you going to try and fight your way there?
Is the circle where the chanting's happening?
Yes, the circle where the chanting's
I'll run straight there.
Huge hand.
Do I need to fight my way there? Or do I just try and
sort of not? You don't know if those creatures are going to run at you full pelt and how fast they are. They're the closest things to you right now.
Can I make an athletics roll to kind of try and rugby tackle?
Absolutely, that was exactly what I was going to ask. Athletics to see if you can get there in time and rugby tackle them.
I again have a 50% chance of making this, and I make it with 3 levels of success.
That is a good thing to make. Let me tell you that. So one of the creatures comes horrifyingly close to you. I'm going to have to make you're going to have to make another endurance roll as it swipes at you across your chest, and the
for corruption
graze you for corruption. Indeed, these creatures emanate like.
I did not pass that roll, but I might try to fix that. Well, I can take a lot of corruption. I've got a lot of corruption.
It's also hard to get it down, though, and I'd say it's worth potentially.
So, and are we saying that our current? I'd be re-rolling with fortune, right?
Yes.
Or can I use fate?
Fate is the other way around. Fortune is not take damage and stuff.
Okay. Can I use fate to auto succeed at something? Is that a thing?
1 level. You get you get 1 automatic success level, or you get a reroll with fate.
Okay, I did my reroll and I passed, so I'm down to less than I was currently at.
You are good. Okay. The creature scrapes just across your chest. It doesn't do any damage. It's reaching as far as it can. As it turns out, these things aren't that fast. They have quite short, stubby legs. One of the others has started screaming, and a kind of horrific pink flame is forming in its hands, rather menacingly. But you move so quick that nothing, it hasn't taken any further action. As the blue fingers kind of swipe across your chest, you feel your whole body prickling unpleasantly. But you do not take any further bad consequences. And you basically just barrel full pelt into the closest one of your friends who was in that circle. This one is the screaming, the one who was screaming at the door a moment ago. the young wild mage. You barrel straight into him.
Right.
And he flops forward, and absolutely instantly, the whole floor returns to what it was. And with a sickening pop, the giant hand flops onto the ground, and then burns up into a fiery pink flame. And the whole cavern echoes with a scream that deafens you. 5 seconds later, everyone piles on top of you, and you are knocked unconscious.
Yeah, no, this is fair.
We'll come back to everyone.
That could have gone worse.
Honestly, you did real good.
I mean, you know what? But Kruger would never say it. I mean, why are you involved in cult activities? Why do I always have to bail you out of these situations? It wasn't me, I promise.
My God.
I like how Boniface has basically just had his own private Call of Cthulhu mini campaign. It's great.
Yeah. You might get involved in it soon. We'll find
I mean, like
out.
this is just a regular day in the Wizarding College. I mean,
this happens all the time.
These things literally happen every
Tuesday afternoon. Greater Demon. Anyway, back to the Demigriff. You've had kind of, a nice, let's say it was a nice broth this evening. And had a few beers, perhaps. I won't make you roll consume alcohol. And it's maybe like 9:30 now. And Kruger, you're definitely thinking, I'm starting to get worried about Boniface. It is up to you what you say about that.
We see now my attention is divided because I'm still on the clock for looking after Gustav. But
you know what? Actually, as we say that, Gustav is going to walk downstairs now. He stretches and he goes, "Oh, I don't know what she did to me, but I do feel somewhat better." How have your investigations gone? Sorry, I should have had a scene with Gustav. I jumped in on you there, Steve.
That's fine. I will kind of turn to look at Henrik, given that Henrik's findings in the cottage.
I will give Vile a complete update of everything I found, and tell him where they are stored, and also my slight apprehensions about the guards' method of storing them.
He will nod and then go, "Yes, I do understand your apprehension, but I suppose this place wouldn't have been much more secure. I would like to go check those out as soon as I can."
There is also an Inquisitor apparently on their way.
Oh, good. What a mess they're going to make of all these things. Well, I have some authority I can sway in this matter. Hopefully I can talk them down from killing everyone involved immediately.
Henrik, you don't think that... well, that assassin did seem to have contacts in all sorts of places. Is it possible that it's not an Inquisitor at all that's going to turn up?
That is my worry. The assassins we've dealt with before had a... they showed a definite proficiency in pretending to be other professions.
I see. Well, I'm sure your concerns are justified. It is perfectly plausible that an Inquisitor would be sent, and if two show up, we will know to be suspicious. But I would be cautious with your judgments when they arrive. Keeping a close eye is sensible, though.
Yes. Part of me does want to keep an eye on the guardhouse myself. I don't really... I wouldn't be surprised at all if something were to happen soon, whether it's whether the assassin within has found some way of getting out, or whether the assassin has accomplices en route. But But equally, I find, well, that wizard business that Boniface kept referring to, well, he's not here. And he said he would be, and he does have a habit of, well, I don't know whether trouble follows him around or what, but I do have a concern. I'm not sure any size gathering of wizards is a good idea, but I do wonder what they're up to at that barn. I think, was it some way out of town? I think he mentioned a barn.
Yes, I think he did. I do also want to follow up on that. A gathering of particularly unregistered wizards like that, they never end particularly well. At best, we can hope the barn burns down.
Well, I'm sure Boniface can assist with that if given the opportunity.
Have you not heard from him?
No, not since the funeral. He said he was going to be back before supper, but perhaps he's lost track of time.
Perhaps. Seems our interests diverge. Well, we may take solace at least that even if word arrived in Altdorf almost immediately upon the events of this morning, it would take an accomplice of the seamstress, you said, correct, Henrik? It would take an accomplice of the seamstress at least until tomorrow morning to arrive here. And I don't believe we have any reason to suspect anyone else in the town at the moment who isn't already locked up. I'm not saying this doesn't mean we should keep an eye on the place. I'm just saying, for now, we are not immediately under threat, as far as we know.
The Lord and Lady First and Erect did purchase an awful large quantity of Black Lotus.
Oh, that's what that poison was about. I have no explanation. How odd.
It's quite an expensive poison to use for a rat infestation. It is awfully convenient that they just happened to order the seamstress' weapon of choice right around that the seamstress had an assignment in the town.
That is true. But did you not say a very large shipment was ordered? Why would they have done that for this? That doesn't make sense.
I wondered whether a large shipment might be less suspicious than a very small shipment. If you're after a small shipment, you're only after 1 or 2 doses. It's clear you have an intention for them.
Whereas if you're after a large shipment, then perhaps you could make the case for some legitimate use. I see what you mean. It's worth investigating as well, I suppose, tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we will not be seen.
Yes.
You're thinking they are likely to go to the guardhouse and interfere?
Not directly, but I think it's possible that the seamstress's accomplices might not be all as far away as Altdorf.
I see your point. So we must decide what is more urgent. It seems we either want to go to the guardhouse or to go find your friend tonight. At least before we sleep, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I suppose we could split up.
Well, I will be going wherever you go, Mr. Vile?
Unfortunately, my motives are mixed as well. While I very much want to go to the guardhouse and investigate these items, and do share your healthy skepticism, Henrik, I feel my energies might be best applied where the winds blow.
The guard captain is very sure that the guardhouse is completely impenetrable to everyone except his most trusted guards. I'm skeptical, but I don't think there is anything I can do to convince him otherwise. I also think that while there may be a body count involved, the chaos and trail left from whatever may happen in the night could give us more clues than otherwise.
How very morbid. But you're perhaps right.
I'm also very, very aware of some of the trouble Boniface is capable of getting himself into.
We go to this barn then?
Okay.
I'll kind of look around, see if there's a clock on any buildings. Feels like he's been gone a while.
To the barn then.
I should ask if there is trouble of a magical nature. I'm not sure any of the rest of us are well, what should we do? How does one combat that?
That is a good question. Go on.
If there is trouble of a magical nature there, then Boniface is either causing it or there to help us with it, I imagine.
I can attempt to prevent some of it, but you will find that belief in Sigmar or Ulrich may partly protect you. Have faith. Be whole of body, be whole of mind. Be certain in yourself. Do not listen to anything you hear if you are not sure of who is speaking to you. Do not touch anything you are unsure of, and beasts and men and creatures of elsewhere will be cut down by the sword regardless. It's the best advice I can give you.
Also, we're pretty tough when it comes to magic.
Indeed, indeed. You men of stone. The servants of darkness tend to not like you very much, I hear.
Feelings mutual.
I'll be glad to have you at my side. If you don't mind, and then he leans down to help himself to the dregs of someone's stew briefly before standing up going, yes, okay, let's go.
Right, I guess we depart.
I'm assuming everyone is leaving fully equipped and armored. Yeah, it's a rainy, pretty cold evening. It's maybe like 10 p.m. now. Sun's obviously set. It's although it's rainy and grim, you can see the moonlight through kind of far opening in some clouds. So it's not too dark. And as you crest over the hill, you can see in the distance the barn. It's not on fire. It doesn't look like anything untoward is happening in it as we speak. There is a firelight coming from the partly cracked open door as you enter. Well, as you go towards it. What are you going to do? There's no one outside. No one notices you come. It sounds like some music coming from inside.
I am going to check the perimeter.
Okay, make me a... anyone who's doing this, make me a perception. I think plus 20.
Success with 2 levels.
Unusually. So I have -10 perception if I'm wearing a helmet, which I am. But with a plus 20, I was aiming for 34. I rolled a 3.
Ooh, very nice. Okay, I think Kruger spots it first, but Henrik has also seen this. Kruger, you notice a man crouched in the bushes not far from you, who has not noticed your arrival, staring at the barn, hiding like that through the bushes.
So sort of, yes, silently point this person out. They're not doing anything. Are they? They're just looking.
They're looking, and as you watch closer, they're kind of tapping from foot to foot.
Look towards Henrik for.
Is there enough light to make out any features of them? Like, is it a moonlit night or a moonlit night?
Do you have low light vision?
That is a good question. I have night vision.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah, that's what
yes.
Yes. In that case, yes, you can make out. They are wearing quite nice clothes. They're kind of a fairly short, maybe early 20s. I don't think you'd recognize them otherwise, though. I think you're like, I feel like I've seen that person before, but that's about it.
I have suspicions, but
Henrik, do they look wizardy?
No. They look lordly.
I don't have any stealth in the wilderness.
Henrik's like a brick, very well hidden in the town, but
and underground.
Well, I would be taking a 10%, not 10%. Well, yes, 10%, -10 penalty to any agility-based things.
Dare I look at Ockery for stealth? It's safe to say if you walk up to the barn, this guy will immediately see you. So if you decide not to engage with him, he's going to see you. Sorry, were you going to say something, Jonny?
I do have urban stealth, but it's not very good.
I mean, I'd kind of like to, ideally sneak up on this person and
give it a go.
Catch him unawares. But I guess we could try and play it so that even with crap stealth, like one person going in might drive them out in a different direction.
Is he crouched or is he standing?
Yeah, kind of crouched behind a bush.
Can I send Rinda to knock him over?
Knock him over. Politely knock him over rather than bite his leg, sort of.
Yeah.
Yes, but don't fail badly. It's my warning to you. You can make an animal handling. I think it's not that easy in instruction, so I think it's going to be flat.
Okay.
I mean, I think if you came for a young man from behind by a dog leaping out of the darkness, they'd fall over pretty quick.
It's true, but it's the whole not biting to death part we're hoping to avoid here.
Yeah. I failed, but only by 1 level.
Okay, well, fail by 1 level means Rinda is just twisting head at you.
That's fine.
You tried to give the instruction.
All right. I might as well try and sneak, I guess. That's just a base agility.
Yep, sounds like it.
Yeah, because stealth urban doesn't apply, does it?
No, it does not apply. Not through the bushes. It's going to be flat. I think he's probably trying to pay attention to things. So.
Okay, but from behind.
You're kind of... Okay, yeah, you could look round and go behind. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'll give you a +20 to take a bit longer to go behind.
That's the same roll as my animal hunt training, so I succeed
Mm-hmm.
with
Okay,
0 success levels.
You get within like 5 feet behind him, and he hasn't noticed you. What are you going to do?
Good evening.
He like turns around holding his heart, and he gets a dagger out and goes, you're not one of them. Who are you?
No.
He's kind of looking at you in the dark like, you were at the funeral, weren't you? Now you can see him close up. This is the man who was talking to Boniface briefly when you left the funeral. He tossed him a coin and had a brief conversation with him. You don't know his name, but he's one of the first in records, you assume.
I was, as were you.
Yes. Yes, I was. What are you doing here? He puts the dagger away. He's not immediately worried you're going to try and kill him, I think.
I'm looking for someone. What are you doing here?
Is it Boniface you're looking for?
You're familiar with him. Of course you are. You were talking at the funeral.
Yes. I'm worried some very bad things are going on in there. I've seen them go to the barn before. I think... I don't know what's going on, but only wizards come here, and I've heard some strange noises and smelled things. I'm not exactly keeping count, but I swear one or two of them haven't come back out. My friend warned me about this.
Your friend?
They call them the Cabals, apparently. They try to recruit young wizards to them, corrupt them, and, well, make them do evil things, I guess. I think now he's spotted you. He looks over and notices Kruger and Ockery as well, and you can see he's noticed you and he's having a conversation with Henrik and Vile, of course.
And who's your friend who has told you this?
He's of the Salzenhaar family in Altdorf. We meet quite often when we go there. I'd say if Ockery and Kruger want to come over for this conversation, they can now be here. He goes, it's hard to explain, but they have history with the Cabals. The family do. He's told me about them before in passing. I never thought I'd see one here, though, if this is what this is.
Have you checked for any other entrances?
To the building? No, I haven't. You think, yes, that's a good idea. We should do that. And as you think that, all of you notice the ground quivering ever so slightly, and just on the edge of your hearing, you hear a strange, unearthly wail, scream, if you will, that just makes you feel very uncomfortable. I think we'll end the session there.
Here we go again.
Now, I feel bad because I feel like we're going to start with Boniface in exactly the same position.
That's good. That's good.
It is kind of remarkable.
But I am so happy that you actually ended up in that position, because boy, was it a risky strategy for me to go, okay.
You know I would have played along.
Now we're going to, yeah, I know. I had like 6 hooks to get you down there, and you hit none of them and just did it yourself.
I did make an intuition roll when I walked into the room of like when the chanting was happening, and I was like, if I pause this, I'm going to leave because I think that like
I would have found a way to capture you anyway, but I wanted to give you a
totally.
You did
I was
the
like,
heroic moment.
I was like, the sensible thing to do is to not be here. So.
Hey, behind the veil a little bit here with the GM.
Go for it.
Your actions in this were either going to be heroic and successful, or not heroic, and everything was going to go really badly for everyone. So good job.
Good.
Potentially actually saving the party.
And I'll never get any credit for it.
Will we ever believe you is the question.
Yeah, exactly. That
Well, I
one may have saved Vicebrook.
This is basically that episode of Buffy where Xander has his own mini story and saves the world, and no one else is like knows anything that's going on.
It's exactly that.
I mean, I don't like. I just think I'm just worried about the gossip around school when we come back. You know, I'm then not gonna. I've really pissed off the cool kids and put them out there, and you know, my reputation is never going to recover from this.
That's possibly true. Certainly among the ones who want to do terrible rituals.
I mean, those are all the cool kids. So
exactly. Cool. Do we have any comments or questions or anything to bring up?
We in fact have a raid.
Ooh, very nice.
Hello, raiders. Sorry we missed you.
There's so much chat. Oh, it's huge. What is this chat? Hello, everyone.
So many good comments.
How do we choose comments?
Legitimine
came to raid. Hello, Legitimine. I think I've seen you before trying to raid, and you arrived at like 1 minute before we finished. So it's glad to get you 5 minutes before the end instead.
Yeah, they were also running a Kickstarter around about the same time that we were. So
very nice, very nice. And before you ask, ours has just finished, so you can't pay for it. Sorry. There might be another one in the future. Yeah, John is just trying to sort through any comments.
I really like The Apprentice. Steve's one about The Apprentice. That was really good.
Which one was that?
Oh, yes. Where is it?
And The Apprentice was just 2 days away from retirement.
There's so many things stacked up in the. Oh yes, it's absolutely safe. Only these.
I know. Oh gosh, this plotline is so funny because it's like everything is just unbelievably.
Is this one of the pre-written ones or zero?
No, this is all me now.
Oh yeah, good. That has Sam energy. I'm like, if this was 100%. Written down, there's be some crazy stuff. I was like, why does this bard have a cellar? Like.
Fully
that seems fucking weird.
I like how upfront she was, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's not a barn. We had it built to look like
we just had this. We had this built
for legitimate reasons.
We really wanted to make it look like really innocent, for completely legitimate reasons. So
again, behind the veil, Augusta was genuinely she had the 9 she needed. She was just gonna be like, "Oh, this was the spare. We don't need him anyway." So genuinely gonna let you walk away.
Well, now I feel that's. You know what? I'm actually offended. Oh my god.
Were all of the people carrying out the ritual death witches? Or...
No.
Okay.
Well, you don't really know, to be fair, but no.
This skull, man. You know that was where.
Hilariously.
Skull's a really nice guy. That's
Catan was actually going to help you.
Oh my god, F off!
Ridiculous. Catan was specifically there only to help you out as well. Which is everyone else was trying to manipulate you and mess you up and probably kill you, but Catan was actually going to be on your side.
Wow.
Why was Catan? Why didn't he say something when he was reading the minds of all the death wizards?
Because he can't actually read minds. He could just talk to you in your head.
Whatever, dude.
He does know what's going on. I mean, he did say, "Do you want to know the truth?" You didn't say yes. You didn't continue a conversation. Instead, you walked up and insulted him.
That is a bait weird glowing floating skulls.
Yeah. What happens?
When a glowing floating skull tells you, "Do you want to see the truth?" That is a trap. That's like
it's a strong GM.
Your lawyer instructs you not to answer that question.
He's actually in the book, and it details him, and he's kind of sold he doesn't give a shit anymore, and he just messes with people and will just tell the truth and help people who might not be on his side at all, and do horribly awful things sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second half of that sentence that bothers me.
He gives no fucks anymore.
Amazing. We have this from Patchwork Fez.
Some folks choose graphic design, some folks choose rat catching. It's nice to have hobbies. Exactly.
It's nice to have hobbies.
I must admit, I think rat catching is more than a hobby for Henrik. I think it's it's like a, what would the word be?
Well, it's one of those, like, it started as a hobby, obviously, and then he went professional. And now it's like,
whenever you do something that you love for money, it just takes the joy out of it.
And now it's not your profession; it's now your obsession. And now you can go do your professional investigation and also be obsessed if there's rats.
Yes.
Good.
And if the two just happen to sort of overlap, then good, because they will, because the rats are always behind it.
There's always rats. I mean, the rats are probably behind this, right, John?
Yeah, exactly.
Steve, glowing skulls are never a good sign. Well, you say that, but he was gonna help.
I do say that. I don't even care. Like, the fact that he was there was not a good sign. Like, when you're in a situation where a glowing skull might help you.
Okay.
Broad sense, you're in a bad situation.
I acknowledge that.
Like, no one is asking for the glowing skull to help with, like, baking cupcakes for the cake sale. Like,
because Tom is sad. No one ever asked him to bake anymore.
It's true. And Boniface is the first person to admit that, you can't judge a skull by its
glow.
Brow and size, width, other measurements.
Perfect. John, being dead isn't as great as I thought it would be. There's a lot of that going around that there isn't there. Yeah, it's true. Lesson, they go, big moral lesson for the characters. Just accept death, okay? When it happens, just accept it.
Please. Oh my god. I'm so
good. Morals. Patrick Fairs, trying to think about the meat that has trapped you. Oh god.
Yeah. I mean, I really did try to work in a kind of hope that, hope you're gonna get ahead in this situation, joking, but I couldn't find anywhere to do it, So there was loads. Heads are such a good opportunity for puns, but I couldn't find anything.
He's probably heard them all before, if it's any consolation.
After 500 years, probably.
Yeah. And Justin, here they're creeping up on a bunch of wizard teens who have tried to open an interdimensional portal. I mean,
that was the situation.
I mean, I feel like as much as you want to leave wizard teens to do their own thing, when they start opening up interdimensional portals, it's crossed the line.
It's important to have boundaries as a child.
Exactly.
There's experimentation, and then there's bringing down the forces of chaos to wreck the world. Like,
the line has to be drawn.
Yeah. We also have a thank you for, obviously, the raid from Legitimine, the follow from Sophia Jack 07 and Iron Father Heim.
Nice. Thank you very much. Cool. I think that does then. So thank you very much to players. That was a lot of fun. Nice to get back to this after a week gap. We are Telling Tales. Check out our YouTube or Twitch. We stream at 8 p.m. on it's not GMT, it's BST now, isn't it? On Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Kind of on off. Monday this, Wednesday Late in the Dark, Thursday Wicked Ones. We'll have We Deal in Lead the other Monday soon. We also have one-shots 3 p.m. on weekends sometimes. Check out all of our stuff on YouTube, our social media, and Discord. Picture on below. Thank you very much for watching. We will probably most likely be back in 2 weeks for the next Warhammer. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.